Alright, this is lesson 23, Spanish 1, sophomore Spanish, and this is the lesson that's part 2 of lesson 23. So once again, like it says up there, part 2 of lesson 23, Spanish 1 or sophomore Spanish. Now, we have already learned the following indefinite words and their negative counterparts. So indefinite words such as algo, which means something, alguien, somebody, siempre, always, and their negative counterparts, nada is nothing, nadie, nobody, nunca, never. In this lesson, we'll learn how to use these words in a sentence, and since they may appear either before or after the verb, we're going to basically divide the structure, and the position may affect the structure of the sentence, We will also divide this lesson into 2 parts. So this will be basically the before the verb and the indefinite negative words after the verb. So there's part 1 and part 2 here. We'll try to keep it all in one video here. Now, we're going to talk about indefinite and negative words before the verb. When making a statement with an indefinite or negative word before the verb, Spanish follows the same pattern as English. The indefinite word will be algo está en la mesa. Something is on the table. Remember, algo means something. Está is, en means on, la mesa, the table. Algo está en la mesa. So, once again, in this case, when it's indefinite or negative words before the verb, either one, they will both follow the same pattern as if it were in English. So in this case, when it says in English, something is on the table, you just basically substitute that for the Spanish counterpart or the Spanish translation, and then you have the correct syntax. Now, algo está en la mesa, or we can say alguien está en la mesa, alguien meaning somebody, or él siempre está en la mesa, he is always on the table. And again, we look at the negative counterparts. Nadie means nothing, or nada means nothing, nadie, nobody. Él nunca, he never. So, nada está en la mesa, nothing is on the table. Nadie está en la mesa, nobody is on the table. Él nunca está en la mesa, he is never on the table. So once again, when it comes before the verb, when the indefinite and or the negative word is before the verb, it ends up being the same syntax, the same word order, the same sentence order, the way how the sentence is built. So all you have to do then is just basically substitute the English sentence for its Spanish sentence. You just translate it basically word for word in this case. Now, the indefinite words after the verb. So indefinite words after the verb. When making a statement with the indefinite word after the verb, Spanish also follows the same pattern as English. So if you were to say, yo escribo algo, I write something. Remember, algo meaning something. Or if I were to, or instead of something, I say somebody. Yo escribo a alguien. I write to somebody. And once again, or yo escribo siempre. I write always. So once again, these indefinite words are coming after the verb, but the English sentence stays the same. Now, here is the exception, or here's the opposite of the English sentence. When it comes to negative words after the verb. When making a statement with a negative word after the verb, Spanish does not follow exactly the same pattern as English. Rather than merely replace the indefinite word with a negative word, as before, Spanish now adds the word no directly before the verb. So, in this case, if we have the indefinite word before the verb, or indefinite word after the verb, we put then we have the indefinite word after the verb, we put the negative word in its place. So if we were to say that, yo escribo algo, yo escribo algo. Now, when it's negative words, we will put no. So here, we put no. So yo no escribo, I write, and instead of I will, we put its counterpart. It's basically its opposite. And so in this case would be, I just lost my question. Give me a second. Nada. Nada, sorry. So we would put substitute algo for nada. So yo no escribo nada. I write nothing. Now, one thing that we probably notice here is that means that this sentence has a double negative. Now, this double negative, considered improper in English, is required in Spanish whenever the negative word follows the verb. So when this negative word is following the verb, we add a no in front of it. We add a no before the verb. Now, if we go back to negative words before the verb, if this word was before the verb, we would then say, nada está en la mesa. Nothing is on the table. So remember that. But when we have it after the verb, when we put after the verb, we have to put a no before the verb. So we have here, so again, yo escribo algo, alright, but we make it negative. We want to say we don't write anything. So we say yo no escribo nada. So remember, if the negative counterpart, the negative word is after the verb, when it comes after, there's a no in front of it. But if it comes before, we don't worry about this. So after, we put no before. Now, it might be helpful to note that English may use a negative word either before or after the verb, but never in both places. So once again, I don't write anything, right? Or he would say, I write nothing. But we never do, I don't write nothing. So basically, this will be what we consider improper English, but in Spanish, it is proper. So, however improper may appear in English, one must remember that it is precisely this third alternative, the double negative, that constitutes proper Spanish. This is Spanish 1, Part 2 of Lesson 23.